Hello and welcome to another edition of the pre-weekend kickoff. This is another Saturday night, and I'm starting to do more Saturday nights only because I'm able to get a better listening audience this way, and I'm really not able to get another. Well, Friday nights, I want to say I had a big audience, but also to the point where I think this was about 2 or 3 weeks ago now, where we had Kelly and then we had Elizabeth and Alec, we had Laura and Dave. And I feel that more people are free and available on Saturday nights to tune into the show. So that's why the shift. So hoping everybody's doing wonderfully. I'm hoping there are no technical issues to be. Yes. Good evening, Dave. Welcome to the show. Hopefully you're not having any technical issues like we did last time, and everything is smooth from here on out. If you didn't catch the last show, I just wanted to say I've been traveling a lot for work, and for example, just this past week, I went all the way to. I went all the way over to Rochester. Then from Rochester, went over all the way to Albany, and so this is quite. So I'm putting a lot of miles on the car. Unfortunately, I'm not really getting paid for the miles, which is another bad thing. But I do enjoy the. I do enjoy the. What am I trying to? Oh yes, I do enjoy the work. Some of it is very difficult. Some of it's very difficult. Other times the work is pretty easy. So it all depends on the job. Mostly I get printers. Mostly my main jobs are to troubleshoot printers, and then I have to figure out what's going wrong with them, and then maybe I have to order a part. And some of the issues that the printers get are mostly jams, for example, but there's a time when, for example, I can't seem to resolve the issue. For example, there are a lot of times when a lot of sites where the printers detect a jam, but there's no paper in the printer to be jammed. So that usually involves replacing the sensor or something. I'll tell you one big story. There was this printer in Rochester, for example, that I was working on, and I did at least 4 or 5 visits to the site, and we tried putting in a part, but then the part was incorrect. It was not compatible with the machine, or in the case of the hard drive, so I had to replace an imaging drum, and then I had to replace a hard drive. And we thought putting in the hard drive was going to solve the issue because it said internal disk not functional. But we tried putting in 2 different hard drives, one that was not compatible, one that was compatible. And the last time I was there, we put the new hard drive that was compatible, but we still got that error. So we figured this was a lot of work that we put in that machine. So I think that instead of ordering more parts, the best thing to do is to replace the machine. So that's what we've done. We're ordering a whole new replacement printer to go into that site. And please keep in mind that site has been down now for at least the past 3 weeks, and they can find other places to go, other sites to go to. But it's just all the work, all the visits all those long hours I tried to put in to getting that machine fixed, and no fault of my own. I didn't really know what the main issue was until we replaced all those parts and tried to work with the parts that we had in order to resolve the issue. But I think we came to the best conclusion, which was just replace the entire printer, even though it was installed in February. That's better than just trying to keep replacing parts, because let's say you put in another part and it doesn't work. It's better to just replace the entire unit, so that's what we're doing. It's a little bit tiring, but sometimes, but I think it's generally worth it in the long run, because then we have satisfied customers who have a working machine. And this is not what I've used to do when I started. This is not what I had used to do, going all the way back to 2022 when I started my career in IT, or at least, yes, I want to say when I went to Citizens Bank branches, and my main responsibility was upgrading all of their hardware. That was a little bit different. Upgrading their computer systems, that was my favorite job of them all. And now we're going into different type of I want to say, different type of work. It's more varied. It's a more variety. But I look back to my time with Citizens Bank, and I say, and also trying to run my own business, and say that's what I thought this job was going to be like. And then I thought, or that working in the field of IT was going to be like. But then I realized, as I took other jobs, there's a lot more involved, and there's a lot of learning on the spot, learning on the job. And there's going to be days when you have difficulty trying to figure something out, or how to do something, how to accomplish this task, or how to get around a certain issue. But and some days I just want to kick myself, because it's a little bit too taunting, or too daunting. So there are a lot of times when I want to give up because it's just too difficult. And I know I like to talk more about. I like to talk more than just about work on the show. There's a lot of more interesting, fun topics I want to share, but because this work involves traveling, no, don't. I won't give up, and this is all going to be worth it in the end. I hope. I'm also hoping that I get paid enough to do these jobs. Like last Wednesday or 2 Wednesdays ago. Originally, the job was supposed to be for an hour, and usually these jobs are supposed to be just for an hour. But on Wednesday, I ended up putting in 6.5 hours for a flat rate. And so I asked a barrister, who's the company that I'm working for, please change the pay from flat rate to hourly. And at first they didn't, but the guy that I work with is talking to the management to hopefully convert that pay. It was only going to be 45 or 55, and for the whole trip, so there's no hours, no hourly rate. But I'm hoping that they're going to work behind the scenes to get that converted to hourly. And so what we are going to do is, after hearing me blab on about work, let's get back into the music. I'm going to try to find something else that we can play. And just for that. How about I give you? How about I give you another pipe dream video? And if you missed I think you watched the last Saturday's performance. Anybody who didn't watch, will play it again. But this is a fan made video based on Anna Music's Pipe Dream. Coming up next, we'll have a lot more. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. Testing 1, 2, 3. And it looks like we have Mom on here now. So this is the perfect opportunity to ask how the 51 Oswego Street property sale is going. I've heard that from Dad. We did not sell 51 Oswego Street house. We were planning on. I remember there was a conversation at Easter time that this past week, the week of April 22nd through 22nd through 26th, the plan was to sell the house over 51 Oswego Street, but there have been some issues, things that need to be looked at. And today, I also heard from Dad that we were going to show the house, do some more walkthroughs, some showings to be showing the 51 Oswego Street house tomorrow, Sunday. Good luck with that. You have people that you know who are interested, and that's a good thing. And hope it goes well. I know earlier in the week I was in Horseheads. I was on my way to Horseheads, but through the family channel group text that we have, I heard that there were some plumbing issues over, I think, at the 51 Oswego Street property. Either both at the 33 Downer Street property or the 51 Oswego Street property, there were some plumbing issues that needed to be addressed, and they were not very good. There was sewage backing up, or something going. There was something going back. Charging a lot of battery operated lights, and I can show the house. And depending on what time of day that you do it, but even during the daytime with sunny skies, it's still pretty dark in there, and that's a perfect opportunity for me to show. That's too big. Going to have to fit this to screen. Here are the latest pictures that I took on Easter, showing this is the back end of the house. This is the back door to the property, to the house. And this is the bathroom. And as you can see, it's light, but you still need some battery operated lights to get the full light display, because and this is one of the back bedrooms. This is where I spent most of my time when I was living in that house. This used to be my office, and then 3 years ago in 2020, when Dad ended up purchasing the house. Yes, this is where we all of us grew up in this house from 1994 till around, I want to say, 2012, and then I took it over shortly after that. And Dad lived in the upstairs apartment. This is where my office used to be, and then when Dad took over the house in 2020, this was his study, if you will. And this used to be the family room here. And this is pretty light, but then because you still have the boards up and the windows, some of the windows are still uncovered. Over here's the kitchen. And somebody came in, a cleaning crew came in and cleaned this whole place out. So after the fire in 2022, there was still evidence of a lot of a mess. There was a lot of damage here, and we pulled out to the. Oh yes, the mom can tell you about. Mom describes in the chat the details of the plumbing issues that happened earlier in the week, and it did not sound pretty at all. And as I was saying, the fire had caused a lot of internal damage here, but the cleaning crew was able to clean that right up. So this used to be the kitchen, and as you can see, this was a problem. This part of the ceiling was an issue all along. Even when we were living in it, there was water that leaked through because right above here is a bathroom in the upstairs apartment, and even then we had water leaking right through there, so that was an issue even before the fire. Now we're looking at one of the other bedrooms. So I mentioned the other room was my office. This also used to be a bedroom to many of us, and at one time it used to be a guest bedroom, and as you can see, this is vacant right now. But this also used to be my bedroom after everybody moved out. And what we're trying to get at is now this is used to be the dining room, and this is still boarded up. So, okay. Now we get to the boarded up parts. So obviously you can tell that the rooms that have been boarded up, you need some sort of flash. You need some sort of light to bring some more light into the room. So that's why it's important to have those electronic battery powered lights, so that you're not completely in the dark. And as you can, it doesn't look like a dining room. This room actually, before we renovated it, used to be a library. And then when the contractors came through and renovated the entire downstairs of the house, they converted it into what you see here. And actually, what you see here isn't really much of anything anymore. You can tell from the chandelier that it used to be a dining. This used to be a dining room. There used to be a hutch here that sat against the wall. There was a table here. There was a table here, and it looked much nicer than that. And here, this closet over here, we used to call it the Fibber McGee closet because it was full. It was absolutely full of stuff. But then over the most recent months, we were able to clean it out and get it to where it is. Now we're moving into the front room, and as you can see, this front room, this room, like most other rooms in the house, structurally, they're in pretty good shape. No major significant damage, except for what you can see on the floors here. Most of these rooms have pretty much. There's also a tree branch cracked open the roof to the house. Didn't realize it right away. We had leaks to the family. Oh yes, the roof is still good. Oh yes. I don't know if we want to even show you the I don't know if I can even show you the upstairs. But if I have pictures here, I'll show you. But the upstairs. Oh, this is the basement actually. This is the basement actually. So there are no. I think Rachel or Elizabeth took pictures. This is the basement that you're looking at. I didn't take any pictures of I didn't take any pictures of the upstairs apartments, but if you saw them in person and if you were able to see the pictures, and the reason why I took a picture of this gate is because we actually used to play volleyball games over the net, or used this gate as a volleyball net when we closed it, and that was pretty cool. Anyway, I want to go back to what I was saying about the upstairs. If you saw the upstairs, okay. Yes. Excuse me. If you saw the upstairs, you couldn't believe your eyes. The whole upstairs apartments are completely scorched. They are completely blackened all during the fire. The worst of the damage that you'll see is in the the front apartment, the where Sam used to stay, and we believe that apartment was the source of the fire, and because of that, that front apartment received the most damage. The historic, the house was temporarily a drug dealing location. Yep, so that's why you saw those writings on the walls. So, uh, it's quite interesting, and I I'm just hoping that the next person who does buy the house, is able to flip it, able to save what's left of the structure and turn it into something that's in livable condition. Because I would agree that even though the fire damaged most of the upstairs, the downstairs is in pretty good shape, and whoever's skilled enough to know how to flip a house or try to restore such a property, I think they're going to be fine. And I think whoever whoever hands whoever's hands the property gets turned over to. Let me. That's a little bit wordy. Whoever has the property, whoever we sell it to, I think it's it's going to be great. Yes, it's going to be whoever has the property next. I believe they'll do something great with it. And yes, with the historical context, it was built in 1860, belonged to an original mill owner in Baldwinsville. It's on the National Registry of Historic Places. I mean, just like the entire street, Oswego and Oneida Street, that whole block is on the National Register of Historic Places. So we'll just keep an update. Uh, we'll keep you informed. Meaning, mom, the family will keep you up to date on how the sale process goes, and we'll go from there. In the meantime, it's time to take a little bit of break. Then back to the music. I'm hopefully waiting for more listeners to join, so that we can get the bumper to dump it, so that we can get the bumper to dump it going. And stay tuned. And it's time for everyone's favorite game, Bump It or Dump It. We got some great ones for you. Three new tracks. That's how the game is played. And if you like it, you can vote Bump It. If you don't really like it, then you can vote Dump It. We have, as I said, we have three great ones, fresh from the charts, or at least ones that I discovered from other radio stations. We're going to start with uh, everyone's favorite superstar. One could argue with that. One could argue for or against that. But we start with Ariana Grande. This is the latest off of her latest album, Eternal Sunshine. This is called Supernatural, and it's a duet with Troye Sivan. So please enjoy this one. And I got this off of 97.9, 105.5 Kiss FM when I was traveling to Utica and Albany yesterday. So good luck. We'll see how this one goes. Okay, looks like we got some bumps. Sorry about Dave. You can't get on the computer. Hopefully, it's not related to this webpage, but this has three bumps all around. Next up, we have a cover of a popular No Doubt song from the 90s, and the artist's first name, you might remember as a familiar family name. We have Hayes Warner with Billy B and Kevin Rudolph. It's a mix of rock and pop with their cover of No Doubt's Just a Girl. Bumper to Dump It. Let's go. Laura, I know how you feel. This is the first time that we've heard a combination of rock and hip hop song, and I didn't really know exactly how I felt about it when I heard it the first time. I mean, I'm glad that somebody new was introducing the Gwen Stefani No Doubt era, or at least the No Doubt era of Gwen Stefani's career, to today's modern audience. And thank you, Dave, for your vote. This is the first time that we've gotten dump votes. So far we have two dumps and one bump. Thanks, Elizabeth. And I know people know about Gwen Stefani, and no doubt because she has a new song with Blake Shelton called Purple Irises out now, and we have a lot more contemporary music from her since her No Doubt days. So this I don't know where this is going to fall in the charts, honestly. Some songs, they're introduced onto the radio, and then in a few weeks or so, they take off. They take off, and they take off like a rocket, and by week 5 or so, or maybe a month or two, they end up in the top 10. So some songs do well, others not so much. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this with the nostalgic, the cover. People, you might have, some people might want to just listen to the original version, and that's fine with them. That's fine with me. You can do what you will with it. So we'll have to keep an eye on this and see how far it goes on the charts, because there are times when as I just said, there are times when one song is introduced as a new hit, people don't really like it as much during the first couple of weeks, but then a month or two goes by, and then it's an instant hit. It's in the top 10. Sometimes it's even up in the top 5. It makes it up to number 1 at some point. Others, they try to do their best to stay on the chart, but then after a month or 2 or 5, it falls off and it becomes a lost, forgotten hit. So this could happen. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this track to go either way. Next artist, and we've saved the best for last, of course, with the new album coming out that debuted last Friday, the Tortured Poets Department. We're going to continue exploring this album a little bit further. The one, the only, you know her, you love her, maybe you hate her. It's Taylor Swift with Florence and the Machine. And too bad Janet's not here on the show, because the title of this song is her home state, Florida. I hope you enjoy this one, and best of luck. Voting begins now. Elizabeth and I seem to agree on one thing, and that is the fact that okay. That is the fact that Taylor, besides all the hype, given all the hype that the new album has received, this is not one of the favorites. I mean, we got 1989, we got Red, we got the last album, Midnights, we got Reputation, we got even some of the country stuff. I mean, it's just hard for me to wrap my mind around the fact that every time Taylor Swift does anything, whether it's go to NFL football games to support her her significant other Travis Kelce on the Chiefs, whether it's doing a show on her Eras tour or putting out a new album like she just did, it's like God or Jesus walking on the water or something that religious. But you have to realize, you have to listen for yourself. Everyone has a brain, everyone has ears, and everyone can judge for themselves what they think of the music. So, I know that hearing a few of the other songs on the Tortured Poets Department is not my favorite of mine. And I got to give my honest opinion, because this is, I'd say, and I'm sorry for all the Swifties who have invested their time and energy in this album. It's not the same. And it's not the same as 1989 or even the last Midnights. I mean, if we look back on some of the more recent hits, Anti-Hero, Karma, Cruel Summer, even going back to the song from 1989, Taylor's version. Now, this was a re-release, or this was a track that was not released on the original album, but was released on the Taylor's version. Is It Over Now? Those are more catchy. Those are more memorable. The music, the lyrics, the music and lyrics from those albums get caught in your head more easily, and I think it represents Taylor Swift's best work. Oh yes, Romeo and Juliet, Love Story, that one, and of course, I like the country albums, or the country songs, the best. I mean, yes, Love Story, You Belong With Me, Mine, Back to December, even songs like I Knew You Were Trouble, and 22 from Red, going back to 1989, Shake It Off, Blank Space, Style, Bad Blood. That was probably one of the best albums that she's put out so far in the last 10 years. But to each their own. It's what we heard tonight, I want to say, was one of the best. I think if there was a lifeline to save the Tortured Poets Department, again, we have not listened to the entire album. I have not listened to the entire album yet, and don't judge the book by its cover when you're about 10 chapters into a 30 chapter book, if that analogy makes any sense. And I think we'll have a better idea. Now, one could argue, before I say that, do we have to listen to the entire album to get an honest assessment on what the whole album is like? No. But I think with anything, it's important to take it all in, listen to all the tracks, and then after we're done listening to all the tracks, then make a fair and honest assessment of how this album really stacks up to the other ones. And you're entitled to your opinion. I'd really love to hear your opinion on this, especially if you're a music fan and a passionate music lover like I am. And so that's why we're doing this. This is why we're doing the Bump It or Dump It segments, because this allows me, as a radio host, to get some new music out there and to experiment with what new music out there exists, and also to get the opinion from you, the listener. Uh, you don't feel like the songwriting is as strong of this album. I can see that. I can see that definitely. We've heard a couple of songs like last show and this show that have really not shown Taylor's best work, unfortunately. As I said on the last show, some of the other songs you go into the sampling too much. They borrow elements from other artists and other songs, like for example Cyndi Lauper Time After Time and Fleetwood Mac's Landslide. I heard two songs off of Tortured Poets Department that sound almost exactly like those two aforementioned songs. It's just not the whole album as a whole, and you're entitled to your opinion about that. As the shows go on, I'll continue to bring more songs off of this album, and we'll find out together. We will take this musical journey together and come up with a conclusion as a whole. As a matter of fact, I don't know how many there. I think there are about total 31 songs. It's a double album, so we're gonna play the other artists just like we did tonight. But once I'm gonna feature a song off of Tortured Poets at least once per show, once per Bumper to Dump It, and once we get through all 31 tracks, and if my math is correct, if we do at least one song off the album per week, that's going to take almost a half a year. That's going to take about 6 months to get, maybe 5 or 6 months to get through, unfortunately, and that really doesn't make room for other artists to come on. But I'll ask you once we get through the entire album what your honest assessment of it is. Do you think it really balances? Do you think the album as a whole really balances out Taylor Swift's other work? And what does it mean for her as an artist going forward? What does this mean? What does the Tortured Poets Department mean for her legacy as an artist in her entire career? Stacking this album against the others. So that's probably going to be a question I'll ask in the next 5-6 months, and something may happen by then. We'll see. But I thank you very much for participating in the Bumper to Dump It segments, because your votes, your honest opinion, your honest feedback means a lot, and it allows me to keep doing what I'm doing, which is really providing an entertaining experience, an entertaining and interactive experience. That's what the Forever Living brand is about. That's what I try to bring to you as the listener. So I'll step off from my soapbox for tonight, and thank you very, very much for listening. And I really hope that you get as much out of this as I do as well. So we will sign off. And one more thing I want to pass along: next Tuesday at I think 9 a.m. I'm going into. I did an at-home sleep study, and we'll see what the results of that entail. We'll see whether or not I have sleep apnea or something else. So I'll keep you posted on that front. In the meantime, Mazel Tov, and I'm signing off. And thanks again for listening. Thanks again for participating, and thanks again for your votes. And see you all next week. We're staying with the Saturdays moving forward. No more Friday night shows. However, we might do some specialty shows with some alumni from WBXL, the high school radio station. I'm in the process of getting that planned out and underway. So, but for the regular shows like this, Saturday nights, baby. We'll see you then.